Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my video. Let's talk about whether you should buy parts from the junkyard, particularly the starter and the alternator, or go and get a rebuilt version of these parts. So I had the alternator, both the alternator and the starter, break down on me within 2 months, but I've had this car. This car has like 277,000 miles on it. So I'm just going to assume that the starter and the alternator were the original that came originally with this car. And that's quite a long time. That's quite a lot of miles for the alternator and the starter to be working on this car without it being replaced. But it did eventually break down, and I had the option of getting a brand new alternator or starter, or getting one that's rebuilt. And originally I didn't even take into account going to the junkyard and buying the alternator or the starter. But my decision originally came down to pricing and convenience. I could buy one from eBay and buy an original from eBay and save some money, but the alternator from one of these auto parts stores, I don't think they carry original. Normally they don't carry originals. They carry rebuilt alternators and starters. So, but if they had originals, it'd be like $100 more or $150 more than the rebuilt one. So when this car broke down, the alternator and the starter broke down, my option pretty much was to go to one of these auto places, AutoZone, Pep Boys, or one of these small mom and pops auto parts stores and get a rebuilt one, which is what I did. The alternator, I believe each of these probably cost me less than $100 after the old ones were given back to the store. So there's like a parts exchange for a discount, and I think all the stores do that because they actually rebuilt these alternators and the starter. They changed up the components on them. So that was about a year and a half, 2 years ago when that happened. And guess what? Both of these components broke down on me. Both of these rebuilt components, parts, the alternator and the starter, both of them broke down on me within less than a year. So I had the starter. So I bought both of these items, both of these parts rebuilt, and both of them broke down on me within less than a year. I had the starter put in. I got a rebuilt starter the second time around from the same place, put it in. But when the alternator broke down on me a second time, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna go to one of these auto places and buy a rebuilt because there's like 2 bad experiences already. I'm gonna go and check out the junkyard. Go to the junkyard to see, might as well take my chances because I'm paying like $100 for the work done, and when that's pretty cheap. I went to Craigslist and got someone to put these the alternator and the starter in for like $70-80, and but still, I mean, I don't want to take out time, and I don't want these parts to break. These parts are supposed to last like 200,000 miles, 150, 200,000 miles. So for like rebuilt, for the rebuilt alternator and the rebuild started to break down on me within less than a year. I will say that I do drive quite a bit, but they broke down on me less than, I don't know, with less than like 50,000 miles they broke down on me. So last time, the last time I went to the junkyard, called a couple of junkyards up, got this alternator for like, I don't know, $25. It was really cheap. And I did ask them how many miles was on the car they pulled out from. The guy said 50,000. Like I that, you know, I couldn't tell whether he was telling me the truth or not. I don't even know if they keep mileage info on each of these parts. But regardless, it was like $25. I'm like, screw it, it's $25. I've had both of these rebuilt parts break down on me, so I might as well just go out and take my chances with a junkyard part. So I had this alternator, and this alternator was changed up. This was an OME originally from a Nissan Altima car, never rebuilt, from the junkyard. And I put, you know, about 15,000 miles on it so far, and I've had no issues with it. And I did a lot of research, went online, looked up, you know, junkyard alternator, junkyard starter, and you know, there's some pros and cons to it. A lot of people say, you know, you can't trust, you know, these parts from the junkyard. It's not warranted, blah blah blah, stuff like that. But if my starter breaks down next time, I'm not even gonna try to go to get a rebuilt starter. I'm just gonna go to the junkyard, get it from the junkyard, and take my chances with the junkyard part. You know, it's an original Nissan part. It's not rebuilt, and a lot of these cars, you know, they don't, you know, they get into accidents or whatever, and you know, a lot of these cars have low mileage, so you shouldn't. I don't think there should be any issues with using, you know, some of these parts like the alternator and the starter from the junkyard. Surprisingly, when I did my research on, you know, where to get these components from the junkyard, there wasn't like a lot of information out there. You know, I wanted like personal experiences from people, you know, going to the junkyard and getting an alternator or starter for their car. So this is my personal experience with getting at least one component, which is the starter, from a junkyard for like $25, and getting somebody from Craigslist, like paying them like $70 to put it in. And you know, it's like I've you know, put in, that was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago, and I've had no issues with it since. So that's my experience with it. If you guys are looking for a starter, an alternator, you know, I think the junkyard is you know, take your chances with the junkyard. You know, these parts are, you know, if you get a rebuilt part, it is warranted by the store. As far as, you know, the junkyard part is concerned, they give you a 30-day warranty, but the starter and the alternator might have a lifetime warranty from the store if you buy it from the store. But the only problem is, if they break down, you still gotta pay somebody to put it in, which is gonna cost you, if you go to like one of these auto places, it's probably gonna cost you anywhere from like $150 to $200. I never do that anyway. I'll call somebody from Craigslist up and have them work on it. But you know, it's worth it to, you know, to go to the junkyard and buy one of these components for cheap and put it in. I mean, I at this point, having the experience that I've had with the alternator and the starter, buying it from the store, rebuilt and breaking down on me, I'm not going to do that again.